Are you one of the many Californians thinking about trading the Golden State for the last frontier? Moving from California to Anchorage, Alaska in 2025 sounds exciting. No state income tax, no citywide sales tax, and yes, even get a check every year from the state. But on the flip side, you're looking at higher utility costs, a severe winter, and a housing market that's tighter than a lot of people expect. So today we're going to break down whether it's really worth it to make the move north. Hi, my name is Christy Hutchison. I'm part of a local real estate team here in Anchorage, Alaska. We help people from all over the country make the move to Anchorage, taking the guesswork out of everything from finding the right neighborhood to navigating the home buying process, so your move feels smooth, informed, and stress-free. So don't hesitate to reach out. If you plan to relocate in 3, 6, or even 12 months, our contact info is listed below. We'd love to help you make Anchorage home. Let's get into the video. In California, state income tax is anywhere from 1% all the way up to 13%. On top of that, sales tax in most California cities runs 7 to 10%, depending on where you shop. Now compare that to Anchorage, Alaska. There's no state income tax, no statewide sales tax. Anchorage does not collect a general sales tax. In fact, the Anchorage Assembly rejected a proposal for a 3% local tax in March of 2025. And there's more. Every eligible Alaska resident also gets the permanent fund dividend. In 2024, the payout was $1,700 per person. And in 2025, it's looking like it's going to be around $1,000. Keep in mind that's federally taxable, but it's still extra money in your pocket every fall. So right off the bat, if you're moving from California to Anchorage, your state tax bill drops to zero, and you pick up that annual dividend. Next, let's talk housing, because it's usually the most considerable monthly expense when relocating. The average for a 2-bedroom in Anchorage is about $1,500 a month. A 3-bedroom is around $2,100, and a 4-bedroom is around $2,600. These are conservative federal benchmarks, but they provide a reliable baseline. On the ownership side, the data puts the average Anchorage home value at $400,000, which is just up for about 3% year over year. The median sales price of June was around $371,000, so the gap between list and sales price reflects how competitive the market can be. Now compare that to California. It shows the statewide average home value is around $775,000. Median list price is $761,000, and the median sales price is about $748,000. So while Anchorage homes cost about half what they do in California, especially compared to Southern California, where averages run close to $869,000, it's not cheap. Anchorage assessment in 2024 and 2025 shows steady increases, with condos and entry-level homes rising fast. Inventory is still tight, and demand does continue to outpace supply. Another cost you absolutely need to factor in is utilities. Alaska's average electrical residential rate in June of 2025 was about 26 cents per kilowatt hour. That's higher than the US average of about 17 cents, but still lower than California's average of 33 cents, which ranks amongst the highest in the nation. Here's where the difference really shows up. In California, many households rely on natural gas and electricity for mild heating and cooling, with costs staying relatively stable year-round. Water, sewer, and trash services also tend to run higher in Anchorage than in most California cities, partly due to logistics and climate challenges. Even the internet can be slightly more expensive since infrastructure and redundancy are more limited in Anchorage than California. So while California has a higher electric rate on paper, the combination of heavy heating needs, fuel costs, and limited utilities, competition in Anchorage makes a total monthly utility bill can end up being just as big or bigger than what you were used to in California. That's why many Alaskans budget utility right alongside housing as a significant line item. So how do job markets really compare? California's economy is massive. It's the largest in the world, with dominant industry with tech, entertainment, agriculture, aerospace, and finance. That scale means there are endless opportunities, but it also comes with fierce competition, some of the highest housing costs in the US. Anchorage, on the other hand, is smaller and more specialized, but still diverse. Military base anchors thousands of jobs and directs demands for housing and services. Healthcare is another huge employer, with multiple clinics serving as hubs. Oil and gas still play a huge role, but less in the past decades, while fishing, shipping, and logistics remain core pillars of our economy. Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport is the 4th busiest cargo airport in the world by land and weight, which creates a steady base of aviation and logistic jobs. Tourism is always big, especially in the summer, fueling seasonal work in hospitality, guiding, and transportation. When you compare wages, Anchorage tends to run above the US average to offset the higher cost of living. But of course, it can't compete with Silicon Valley salaries. The trade-off is that Anchorage wages pair with much lower housing costs than California's major metro areas. In short, fewer industries and smaller scale. But for many Californians, moving north, the balance between income and cost of living ends up being much more sustainable. Now let's talk about climate, which may be the single biggest lifestyle adjustment. Anchorage winters are cold and snowy, with average daily highs in the 20s and sub-zero nights. Daylight drops to about 5.5 hours a day in December, while summer days stretch for 19 hours of daylight in June. California, of course, offers a mild Mediterranean climate along most of the coast, with 260 to 280 sunny days in the year. But in Anchorage, those extremes define daily life. The long summer days are perfect for hiking, fishing, and late-night outdoor adventure, while the dark winter can test your mental resilience. Many residents rely on light therapy lamps, winter sports, or community activities just to get through. The snow also means planning for winter, driving, plowing, and vehicle prep in most of the regions. You'll never see extreme seasonal shifts in San Diego or San Francisco or any of the other metro areas. Despite its location far north, Anchorage is surprisingly well connected. Ted Stevens in Anchorage International Airport offers direct passenger flights to major West Coast hubs like Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, and San Francisco, plus seasonal routes to Chicago, Denver, and even international destinations like Frankfurt and Tokyo. Now compare that to California. Los Angeles International and San Francisco International are massive global hubs, nonstop flights to almost anywhere in the world. The difference is scale. California airports dominate in passenger service, while Anchorage goes far above its weight in cargo and reliable access to the lower 48. For relocators, what this means is that you won't feel cut off. You can fly to California in about 4 hours. And many Alaskans routinely make West Coast trips for business, shopping, or family visits. Anchorage might not match California's nonstop access to everywhere, but it's far more connected than most people expect for the city its size. There isn't a data set that pinpoints exactly where Californians settle, but the Alaskan Department of Labor Growth Trends highlights the areas that have added the most residential over time. And that happens to be the same neighborhoods that people relocate for the lower 48 often choose: Eagle River and Chukuk. These communities sit about 20 minutes north of downtown Anchorage and have a strong suburban feel. They're especially popular with military families. Think of it like a small mountain tucked inside the Anchorage municipality with access to trails, rivers, and ski areas right outside your back door. For Californians used to places like Folsom near Sacramento or Temecula outside San Diego, Eagle River offers the same family-oriented outdoor lifestyle. Number 2 is South Anchorage. This area includes neighborhoods like Ocean View, Huffman, and Campbell Lake. South Anchorage has some of the city's best schools, larger homes with yards, and plenty of shopping and amenities. Families moving from suburban California cities often gravitate here because it feels very familiar. Number 3 is West Anchorage. This area attracts professionals who want quick access to downtown but also value outdoor space and recreation. If you're moving from coastal California cities like Santa Cruz or Orange County, West Anchorage has the same blend of laid-back vibe, trails, and proximity to the water. Are you thinking about relocating to Anchorage, Alaska? Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. I've linked it below. Just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. I hope that helps. To put it all side by side, Anchorage has 0 state income tax, 0 citywide sales tax, and pays you a permanent fund dividend. California has a high state income tax and sales tax averages 9%. Anchorage's average home value is around $407,000, while California's is around $770,000, with markets closer to $900,000. Rent for a 2-bedroom in Anchorage is about $1,500, where in California metro areas, it's easily $3,000 or more. Electricity in Anchorage averages about 27 cents per kilowatt compared to the 33 cents in California. While Alaska is not cheap, if you're coming from California, your housing and taxes will dramatically be lower. You'll spend more on utilities, groceries, and healthcare, but your dollar does go further overall. So is it worth it? If you're leaving a high-cost California metro, Anchorage will feel like a relief in some areas with lower housing, no income tax, no sales tax, and that annual fund dividend. But you will also face higher living costs and day-to-day essentials and much harsher climate. But if outdoor adventure, community living, and lighter tax burden appeals to you, then Anchorage can absolutely be worth it. And if you're curious about the other side of Anchorage real estate, the hillside mansions, the private lake estates, and the neighborhoods where Anchorage ultra-wealthy call home, then make sure you watch the next video. Where do Anchorage, Alaska's ultra-wealthy live? And I'll see you over there.